This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Lenovo is built for creators who don't wait for inspiration. They chase it. With inventive tech, built-in AI tools, and seamless performance, Lenovo devices powered by Intel Core Ultra processors are designed to bring your wildest ideas to life faster. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. Enjoy flexible financing, rewards on every purchase, and free shipping. And students get special offers when you create an account at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Saks Off 5th, up to 70% off every day. Summer is officially here. Time to dress like it. From breezy linen and floral dresses to chic sandals and beach-ready swim. Saks Off 5th has the designer styles you'll live in all season long. Plus, shop new arrivals every week. You'll find Alice and Olivia, Valentino Garavani, Versace, Stuart Weitzman, and more. Head to SaksOff5th.com or a Saks Off 5th store near you for up to 70% off every day.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on what your kids are spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/iHeart.
If you want to chime in what's happening in your favorite KFAN shows, you can make your voice heard on the Brad, John, Bryant KFAN text line. So let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. At a 64686, standard text message and data rates apply.
Hey, we're drying out here at the TCL Performance Center practice field, the new Winter Park Vikings headquarters. It's our first day of training camp coverage. Gosh, all the shows will be out here one time or another. I don't think the morning show comes out, but I know that Meat Sauce will be out here. I think with Nordo for that the one evening practice. I don't recall the date. I've got it somewhere jotted down, but yeah, there'll be plenty of coverage out here. Big Ticket will be out here in JG, and of course the Paul Allen Project PA Nordo were out here earlier. They were indoors. Whether they have an outdoor practice at 2:30 or not remains to be seen. We're still awaiting the arrival of one young Brian O'Neill, Vikings right tackle. He is scheduled to join us at about 1 o'clock or so. But as we wait for Brian, let's go ahead and do 5, 3, 4.
Time now for 5 questions. Well, actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1.
We're gonna win, Twins, we're gonna score.
It's now time to delve deep into Twins territory.
Crack out a home run, shout a hip hooray! Cheer for the Minnesota Twins today.
Yeah, the Twins won 10-7 last night in Los Angeles. The 10 runs is the most they've ever scored against the Dodgers. And it was just their third win at Dodger Stadium in 16 meetings. That includes the World Series. The Twins went 0 for 2 with a walk with the bases loaded, yet still scored 4 runs in those situations. Carlos Correa scored 4 runs. Simeon Woods Richardson lasted only 3 innings, walking 5 batters and giving up a 3-run homer to Andy Pagas. Christian Vasquez hit a 2-run double, collecting his first RBI since June 8th. Common, what sticks out to you from last night's Twins win?
There's some quotes that I want to get to from after the game from Baldelli and some of the players that I just...
By the way, I see your lunch in front of you.
Yeah.
I can never really see you a whole lot on the other side of the glass when you're eating your lunch during 5 questions. You had the whole commercial break where you didn't eat, and then you waited until we started the segment, then you started eating.
I had to go to the restroom.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't. It was either eat lunch now or pee my pants during the segment.
Yeah,
I had to go
I appreciate taking the other.
Plus, the restroom here is a little further. I used to use the one in the maintenance building, but they locked that one on me. So,
sorry for interrupting.
That's okay. There were some quotes from the manager and the players, and I don't understand. It seems like they've done a complete 160 on their approach to playing baseball. It was after they were 0-18 in the postseason. Was this 3 years ago now or 2 years ago when they finally qualified for postseason play and they actually won a series? I think they beat the Blue Jays
2 years ago.
Okay,
yeah,
2 years
they
ago.
cut salary going into last season.
Right. So they beat the Blue Jays, got to the second round, and they got beat by the Astros, I think. And then they had their season-ending news conference and said, "Guess what? We're going to swing as hard as we can and try to hit home runs and throw as hard as we can." Now I'm seeing all these quotes from all the players saying, you don't have to swing out of your shoes. You can go ahead and do this. I mean, I don't think they had a home run last night. I don't think. I think most of their runs were either throwing errors, moving runners around.
They're piranhas.
Ground balls.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, and I just find it's actually annoying that it's almost like they're doing the Rosen, whichever way the wind blows. When we have a Bomba squad, we're going to hit home runs, and we think that's the best way to play. And maybe they just felt that's how they were equipped to win games before, and now they feel they don't have home run hitters, so they don't. But I just think when you, first of all, if you're building your roster to either be a home run hitting team or be a team that hits singles, I think that's a mistake too. I think you want to have a team that can score in multiple different ways, and that's what some of these quotes are going to say. So, but to me, it's just what comes out of the game is the Dodgers kind of helped beat themselves. I think that if I read it right, I didn't see the game. There was a throwing error that cleared the bases, so that certainly didn't help the. Do you think this is O'Neill right here?
Yeah, it is O'Neill. Yeah.
Okay. Well, So I guess what I would say is just the way they couch it when it's now. If they started hitting home runs again, my guess is they would change their tune again and start talking about how much we love swinging for the fences. But it's a win. I looked at the wild card standings. We talked about it yesterday. There's 5 teams ahead of them, 4 or 5 teams ahead of them, and a couple of those wild card teams are only a game or 2 ahead. So it's really not that. Well, here's what I'll do. Look at no, wait. We got a towel here. We can throw this down. Then you won't get your.
If you want to sit, it's a little damp.
There you go. Oh, thank you very much. Brian O'Neill, right tackle of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, joins us. Long time no see. How you been, my friend?
Great. How are you?
No, we're doing very well. I understand you like playing golf.
I do.
I did. Have we talked golf at all?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have. Knockdown, punch, cut, fade, draws. What do you hit?
More cut than draw.
More cut than draw?
Just like most big guys.
How long have you been playing golf?
Probably like 5-6 years.
5-6 years. And why did you pick up? Because a lot of people start playing when they're real young. How old are you now?
29.
29, so you started playing in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Just that's what the guys were doing, and you thought you'd join them, or how did it work?
Yeah, that's what the guys were doing, and that's what my dad always did.
Okay.
So just like it was a good way to hang out with him, and then kind of got hooked. But clubs are going away for 6 months now because it's training camps here. So
God, I feel bad for you because I played today and I'm going to play tomorrow and I'm going to play the day after that. My clubs never go away except when it snows. What's your handicap?
Just like a 9.5.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
it's really annoying. Guys have been playing 5 years. You already get a better handicap than I do.
Yeah, 9.5. Is that the over/under for Vikings wins in your mind? I think some of the odds makers had 8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
I hope not.
Yeah, 8.5 seems. I mean, again, I'm not trying to be a ducky and a bunny or a homer, but I mean, I got to think the team should be able to win 9 or 10 ball games. I mean, I thought the 8.5 was a little low by the odds makers, and I'm sure everybody in the building feels the same way. Though I'm sure you don't care so much about the odds. It doesn't matter what Vegas says. What matters what happens on the field. But that number seemed a little low for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the business of the NFL, right? Like, they got to make predictions. Fans got to be engaged. It's such a big business. So they've always made those predictions. They always will. But there's been years where we've crushed the total. There's been years where we haven't. So it's kind of on us in practice here in about 2 hours to put the season, start off on the right foot.
Do you know if you're going to be outdoors or indoors?
I sure hope we're outdoors.
Yeah.
I love being outdoors.
Yeah, it is nice out here. We looks like this field drains really well. So it was just pouring out. 2 different times we got gully washers out here while you guys were inside. It was, we thought we were going to get hit by lightning is what we thought, but we survived it. We made it.
Yeah, we're here. We're still standing.
Twice the team has lost in postseason. You lost to the Giants 2 years ago. You lost last year to the Rams. Did one feel worse than the other? I know losing in the postseason is bad anyways, but did one seem like that was ours, or I felt this team was better than that one, or whatever the case may be? Did one hurt more than another?
They all hurt.
Yeah.
They all hurt a lot, but last year definitely really hurt. I wasn't actually playing in the game against the Giants in the playoffs. Right. I had gotten hurt a couple weeks before.
That's right.
But you still put your whole life into that season. So they both hurt, but one's a little more recent. But it's all about the 2025 season now.
When last season, when the season ended, the coach did his end of the season news conference, and he didn't pull any punches. He said we need to beef up the interior of the offensive line, and they've done just that. You got a couple of new players there. How you getting along?
Good. We just had our whole. Five of us out in walkthrough working together, and we had a great spring together, and able to spend some time outside the facility, and it's going to be on us. We're not going to be the best versions of ourselves today, but we're going to lay down a good foundation and try to get better every day to hopefully be playing our best football as an offensive line and as an offense and really as a team later in the year. Is trying to peak at the right time. So we got a lot of work to do. Just a lot of new faces, getting used to playing with each other, different communication things, and but it's an exciting challenge. But it definitely is going to be a challenge.
Specifically, the rookie Donovan Jackson, left guard, drafted in the first round. You just mentioned 29 years old, which blew my mind that you're already up to 29. It seems like just yesterday you were being drafted. But do you, at this stage of your career, do you feel like you're a mentor for a guy like that, or because he's a guard and you're a right tackle, and then maybe those things don't always mix? Like, what is kind of your relationship with a guy who's drafted that highly and is young on the team?
I don't know if I would specifically say I'm going to be this guy's mentor, right? I think it's something that has to happen naturally. I think something that was really positive was Donovan stayed at TCO this whole summer with me and a couple of the other of the O-linemen who have stayed here in the summer training. So we were able to get a lot of FaceTime in that 5-6 week break from OTAs until training camp, and really got to know him on a more individual level when you're not in a group setting. So I thought that was a really, really mature decision from him to stay here and train with the guys and be around the strength coaches and know what's going to be expected of you and just get that much more comfortable.
Do you like pounding double teams on inside zone duo, or are you more of a reach stepper for the outside zone and jet?
I like them all. I like the ones that work.
Yeah, okay.
I like the ones when we get first down.
I just thought I'd do a little inner ball talk there because I played the game myself. I was a fierce pass rushing, rocket Gibraltar run stopping defensive lineman, precise route running, sure, and a pass catching tight end. I also played a little bit of offensive line and
you can do it all
too. I can do it all. I play both sides of the ball. Did you play both sides? Let me guess. In Pop Warner High School, you played both sides of the ball, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Of course you did, right? Because
you have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Were you an offensive lineman from the get-go? Like, were you always one of the bigger guys, or did they put you at quarterback for a while? What were you doing?
I was an offensive lineman in grade school because there was weight limits, right? The bigger you were, you had to have an X on your helmet. You can only play on the line. Yeah. And then in high school, I kind of played tight end all the way through. And then I went to college as a tight end and then switched to tackle after my freshman year of college.
In pass protection, do you like slide protection, or do you like to be on the man side and go one-on-one with the D end?
I think anybody would say they like to be on the slide side and have a little bit of help. But,
all right.
There's you got to be great at both. So,
would you prefer to run power ISO than mix in a little boot? I don't even know what that means. Do you know what that means? I have no idea what that means.
I would like to run power ISO and then mix in a little boot. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. That inside football talk.
I don't like doing one thing over and over again because then they'll get a feel on it, Right. And that's one thing KO and Wes are really great about is mixing up our schemes, how things look, the different kind of plays we're running, all that stuff.
Everybody has, when you're playing in the National Football League, everybody's going to have pressure, but I got to believe for the young kid at quarterback because, let's face it, the team has kind of put their eggs in one basket. I think they could have re-signed Sam Darnold had they really wanted to pay him the money, but they had drafted McCarthy. Daniel Jones might have stuck around, but they say, no, we're going with JJ now. And, I know there was maybe a dalliance with Aaron Rodgers or not. KOC said he talked to him, but that's what it is. So I got to think, again, the kid's probably been under a lot of pressure in his entire career, but there's a lot of it here when you're going to be the number one guy as a young kid and hasn't taken a snap for, you got hurt last year in the preseason, but in a regular season game.
Yeah, sure, but there's also pressure being a starting freshman quarterback at the University of Michigan.
That's right.
And there's pressure going to play in the college football playoff and going to win a national championship on an undefeated team. So, that's the nature of the beast, right? At that position especially, it's always going to be there. It always has been. But, hopefully he can have a great day today and kind of lead into a great training camp that'll really set him up for success. And then the only thing I can do is, myself and our offensive line is try to give him the best protection possible and give him the best chance. So we'll certainly be doing that.
Yeah, with JJ, I'm sure you're going to hear lots of JJ McCarthy questions over the last month, so get ready for that. But with JJ, you saw him obviously in training camp and all the offseason stuff last year before he got hurt. Do you, given it's year 2, at what point do you know, hey, this guy is going to be really, really good? Is it? Do you not know until you actually see him in a regular season game, or is there a point where you go, man, I think this guy's got it? How do you know?
I guess as an offensive lineman playing, just against, I can tell when a defensive lineman is going to be pretty good within, a couple weeks of seeing him. But there's so much more that goes into quarterback play for me that, I don't know.
Okay.
So, but
you're not even watching him half the time anyways. He's behind you.
Yeah, I can't see anything that he's doing. If I'm watching him throw, something bad happens.
Yeah.
I'm watching most of the plays on the Jumbotron in the game. But I will say I thought when he was in training camp last year, he did a great job. And this spring has been a continuation of that. And I've really enjoyed working with him. It's been a pleasure. So hopefully we can do it for a long time.
Our guest is Vikings right tackle Brian O'Neill. We're out at Vikings training camp, Twin Cities Orthopedic Center. The team is scheduled to practice outdoors here coming up at 2:30. Preseason prognostications, most people think it's going to be a pretty tight division. Detroit, we saw what they did last year, 15-2. They got upset in the playoff game, but they've had 2 great seasons in a row. Green Bay was a playoff team last year. The Bears now have Ben Johnson as a head coach. They've refortified their offensive line. Most people feel like it's going to be a close division race, and maybe all 4 teams can compete. As a fan, I like that. I don't know as a player if you'd rather have a division where it's like we're the cream of the crop and the others are just also ran kind of clubs. But as a fan, I think it's fun that you say, every week is going to be important, and each division game could even be more important than it normally is, because it seems like all teams are going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. Hopefully, it will be battle tested by the end of the year, playing so many good teams. Like you said it. The Lions had a great year. The Packers had a great year. The Bears. Our games against the Bears last year were both down to the very wire. So, I think 80%, over 80% of all NFL games come down to one score. So, it's going to be tight, and there's too much talent in this division for it not to be. And so, we got to know that and expect that, and try to go win in the margins.
You mentioned that within 2 weeks, edge rushers, defensive linemen, whether they're good or not. How quickly did that happen for you with Grenard and Van Ginkel? Because I think when they were both signed in the offseason, obviously Grenard was a bigger signing, but Van Ginkel I think we kind of just thought of as he might be a rotational guy, right? We didn't know a whole lot about him. They ended up having pretty darn good seasons last year. At what point did you know with those two?
Less than halfway through training, halfway through training camp. It's easier to tell with veterans who've played, because there's so much development that happens with young guys that are coming up. And me from year 1 to year 2, 3, 4, it's kind of gone up. But when you get a guy who's played for 4 or 5 years and you come in, you can kind of tell right away. And me and Jonathan Grenard, we were joking about today. He's like, in 2 weeks, we're going to be yelling at each other and walk through, because we're going to be going at it so many times in a day. So it's really great for me to be able to, and Christian and Justin School and all of our tackles to be able to go against those guys every day in training camp.
When you play golf here in town, do you belong to a club? Do you play at several different places? What's your favorite courses in town?
My favorite course is White Bear Yacht Club for sure.
Me too.
Yeah.
Are you a member there? Because I'd sure love to play with you. I got no problems with that. No, I do. I love the. Well, you wouldn't recognize it from a few years ago. They've taken down so many trees. The renovation out there is just spectacular.
Yeah, they did a great job, and there's a ton of great people out there.
Yeah.
So.
Here's my pet peeve with White Bear Yacht Club. It's for a hack like me, where you hit the ball in the middle of the fairway and you still have the ball above your feet. I'm not good to hit the ball above my feet when I'm in the middle of the fairway.
That's what makes it so great.
Well, that's what makes it great, but that's what makes it awful for me, because I can't hit those shots.
That's exactly what people. That is one of the complaints of people. That you got downhill lie side. Well, learn how to hit those shots. That's what you're supposed to make. Yeah. If you can score at the White Bear Lake Yacht Club, you will be a better golfer any place you go. It's a spectacular place to play.
Great
golf.
People there too.
Yeah, I do like it. Hey, thanks for coming by. We appreciate that. Good to see you again. Good luck this upcoming season, and we'll see you you next time. Maybe we'll see you on the tee sometime, too.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Perfect.
Good to see you guys.
It's Brian O'Neill, right tackle, Minnesota Vikings. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more broadcasting live from TCO Performance Center. It's Vikings training camp coverage here on The Fan. Back with more after this here on The Fan.
Come on. Why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity. With Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance, it keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com. Lenovo. Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
Event of the year is coming to Minneapolis. Paul McCartney live at US Bank Stadium, October 17th. If you want to score a pair of tickets, just go to KFAN.com, keyword contest. Now enter to win. The Get Back Tour, one night, one legend. Don't miss out. KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Here at TCO Performance Center. We're in Eagan. It's the Vikings headquarters, the new Winter Park, as I like to call it. Training camp coverage 2025 continues until 3 o'clock. My schedule's big ticket out here today. I don't think they are they?
I don't believe so, no.
No big ticket today. It looks like big ticket will be out here next Tuesday. They'll be here.
Regardless.
No, I'm sorry about that. They'll be here this
tomorrow.
Thursday. They'll be here tomorrow. Big ticket.
We'll be back Friday.
And Justin Gardner, we will be back on Friday. Getting back to that, the Twins game last night, they beat the Dodgers 10-7 last night, and I was talking about how now we're embracing not hitting home runs, whereas before that's all we wanted to do. Here's what Baldelli said after the game. That kind of game shows you stacking at-bats and finding your way on base does for you.
Who would have thought?
They never said that before. It was always, we want to hit home runs. We have no interest in trying to get base hits. That kind of game shows you stacking at-bats and finding your way on base does for you. It's one thing to be disciplined. It's another when you get to 2-0 and you don't try to beat the world with one swing. This is the same team that said 2 years ago, we are going to swing for the fences and try to hit home runs, and all we're going to do is throw the ball as hard as we can. Now they're saying it's one thing to be disciplined. It's another when you get to a 2-0 and don't try to beat the world with one swing. You actually continue with a disciplined approach. There was a lot of nodding and approval in the dugout today from what we saw from our position players. Imagine that. And who would have ever thunk, right?
Do you think Rocco's always believed that, but just got pushed back from the GM and had to go a certain, and then now he's kind of like, oh, look at that. Look how that works.
That could very well be. Carlos Correa led off 3 innings by getting on base, scoring 4 times, and of course the crowd was bitter last night again because of the cheating scandal. Here's what Correa said. I love getting on base. I'm competing at the plate and having good at-bats for the team. You have to understand that when you're leading off, you cannot get too big. You have to play your role. That's get on base and start a rally.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? I mean, that's only the way they were playing the game since Naismith invented it back in like 1897. It actually was earlier than that. It was like 1867, about the same time they were building the pyramids in Egypt. So I just like
the worst thing that ever happened to baseball was when they made it seem like it was okay to strike out.
Yeah. Exactly. When it was okay to strike out, and it's not. So, and again, we all love a game-tying home run, game-winning home run. I'm certainly not suggesting that I think the Twins should never try to hit a home run, but I think you just let that come naturally. I mean, if the guy grooves one and you time it, knock it over the fence, absolutely. But particularly when you're facing guys like Ohtani and Skubal or any of the other elite pitchers in Major League Baseball, I think what you really want to do is you got to take what they give you, and if that means hitting to the opposite field, laying down a bunt, trying to work them for a walk. I mean, to me, if you're facing a guy like, and I use Skubal because he won the Cy Young and he's probably going to win again and he's in our division, wouldn't the thing to be is to me, is try to make him throw a lot of pitches, right? So in other words, Try to just make contact. Foul the ball off a lot. Even if it looks like it's in the zone, these guys are pretty good at doing that. Maybe that's what they do. Try to do. If they're not, that's what they should be doing. Try to get the guy to his pitch count up. Because even a guy like Skubal, if he gets to be 80, 90 pitches in the fifth or sixth, they're not risking it. Yeah, they're not going to risk it either.
They get into their bullpen.
That's exactly right. So I just loved. I love hearing it. Whether they believe it or not, remains to be seen. But that's for me. That's how baseball's supposed to be. You kind of take what they give you. And they took advantage of some poor fielding by the Dodgers as well.
They did, but they were putting the ball in play.
And they were putting the ball in play.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing, and that's what you do. You put the ball in play. Don't have to always swing for the fences. What do you think of O'Neill? I think he feels pretty good about the club, and I know they always do, but I could see the twinkle in his eye.
I think him specifically, right? Like, how many times have you interviewed him over the years? You're talking about, well, the offensive line struggled last year. You need to work on blah, 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 right?
Right.
And I'm sure you got sick of hearing those questions. Now, and we talked about this earlier, this is just on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But on paper, this looks like it's going to be the best offensive line he's ever played for.
Yeah. Well, put it this way. I don't see how, just with the resume of the two players, Fries and Kelly.
It's all health with them.
And just having those two names in for what we had before, already I think it's a better offensive line. I haven't even seen them play, you know, because we saw how the interior of the offensive line really had their struggles. But like you say, until we actually see them play games. But yeah, I don't know how the interior could get. I don't think I can take a step backwards. I mean that game, and again, you know, it's easy to pick on guys when they're gone and scapegoat them and all that. But they did have trouble, especially with physical defensive lines up the middle, and they had to make changes. They knew it. The coaching staff knew it, and that's why they did. And yeah, you're right. I would think O'Neill's probably pretty excited because when your offensive line is a little leaky or even a lot leaky, it's not as fun coming to work, that's for sure. Take a break, come back, more to get to here on the Common Man program. Legendary Mark Rosen has arrived. He is here.
Yes.
He decided to brave the foul weather. And so
he seems really excited to be here.
Yeah, he does seem to. He's annoyed that I didn't save him any lunch, and I apologize for that, but I was hungry. We'll take a break. We'll come back with more live from TCO Performance Center. It's Training Camp Coverage 2025 here.
Come on, why is this taking so long? This thing is ancient.
Still using yesterday's tech? Upgrade to the ThinkPad X1 Carbon. Ultra-light, ultra-powerful, and built for serious productivity. With Intel Core Ultra processors, blazing speed, and AI-powered performance that keeps up with your business, not the other way around.
Whoa, this thing moves.
Stop hitting snooze on new tech. Win the tech search at Lenovo.com.
Lenovo.
Unlock AI experiences with the ThinkPad X1 Carbon, powered by Intel Core Ultra processors, so you can work, create, and boost productivity all on one device.
The Fan.
New dates, new location, new fun. The Power Trip is headed back to Las Vegas October 23rd through the 27th. The Carousel Travel. Join the guys for a Purple and Minnesota verse Iowa watch party, plus a live broadcast, all from Tom's Watch Bar in New York, New York, plus exclusive experiences and food and drink deals you can only get with us. Limited spots available. Book your trip, KFAN.com, keyword Vegas.
Welcome back to Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center on the Common Man. This is our continuing coverage of Vikings Training Camp 2025, just getting underway today. PA and Nordo earlier today. We are here now. Big Ticket will be here tomorrow. We're at TCO. I'm Comedies 10 to be, and joined now by the legendary Mark Rosen. And what was a more underwhelming announcement? Paul McCartney coming to Minneapolis or the Power Trip going to Las Vegas? In all honesty, that was the big announcement. Wait for it. Wednesday, they're going to Vegas. And I thought we were done going to Vegas with him. I thought Abbott hated when they went to Las Vegas. There were too many machinations that they had to go to, and too much. It was too much work. It was too much trouble, too much bother. But when the Power Trip says they want to go somewhere, guess what? They go. It's the old, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. When the Power Trip Morning Show wants to do something, they do it.
Well, it sounds like they're changing it up a little bit. They're doing it in October instead of March, and they're staying different location, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know all the specifics, but Hope they have a good time. I won't be going.
Tennessee, you like Las Vegas?
I love Las Vegas. I would love to go to Las Vegas for a work trip.
Yeah.
Why don't we do it? It's like they doubt us. They don't. I don't know. Have they looked at the report cards lately? A closed circuit to the power trip. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. It's not like we're getting, we're not fourth in the north anymore. It's not that way anymore.
Well, you could make it happen by talking to the right people.
Also, I've never golfed in Vegas.
Yeah,
I would love to do that.
Why don't we do another golf trip? We filled a plane, go to Myrtle Beach before. We filled a plane going to San Antonio. Why don't we do that again? Yeah. Too much work. It's not the power trip. It's not meat sauce.
We just need to partner with the power trip. That's
maybe
the
that's
key.
what we need to do.
We got to be in it together with them. Otherwise, if it's just us, they're not going to do it.
And this is it's sad, really. Here's what I admire about you.
Like when you go to see a Broadway show and they've got the power trip in the big letters, and then also Common and Tennessee will be there, in the tiny letters.
It's really sad. Well, that reminds me when my brother. He was the house comic in a contract with the Desert Inn, a 3-year contract, so he would open for any act that came through. And this was the days of the Gatlin brothers and the Everly brothers, and he opened for a lot of different. And at the time, these were now a lot of people don't know of these acts, but at the time they were big acts, right? And on the marquee, it said the Gatlin brothers and Alex Cole, and his name had as big a letters as the Gatlin brothers.
Oh,
Larry Gatlin told him at the Eagle. Larry Gatlin went to the folks at the Desert and said, "Not going to work.
No, not happening.
Got to make those letters a little." Yeah. Oh, I swear to God. Yeah, that's what he said. He goes, "You have to make those letters a little smaller."
That's old school.
So then my brother went from having letters. Alex Cole is as big as the Gatlin brothers. It was basically you needed a magnifying glass to see them. But yeah, Larry didn't like that, so that's how those.
But he was still there.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
How gutty are you? You come out here, and now you're even doing extra time. I mean, you're not supposed to start until 2 o'clock, and here you're at 1:30.
I'm gonna sit here and twiddle my thumbs. Might as well talk with you. I mean, it's it's been a roller coaster today. I mean, first the Vikings basically said I thought they were working. What are you doing? The Vikings were going to...
I knocked a chair over in my exuberance.
Yeah, the Vikings were going to work indoors. That's the word I got, not from any other unofficial source. And now, as we can see, all the equipment managers are out here putting the tackling dummies.
Well, where you see meat sauce? Where? I don't see him here.
Look a little closer. So, barring another major thunderstorm, which is supposed to happen at some point, I mentioned to Tana in one of my many text messages that they've already canceled the Torchlight Parade for Minneapolis, the Aquatennial Parade. Yeah, I guess it's supposed to be pretty nasty tonight. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I had no problem coming out here, but then you're kind of going back and forth. Then I heard you mention...
I do think we're going to get rain on here in a little bit.
Well, I think we are, but we'll see if the guys come out and practice. I mean, I didn't want to miss J.J. McCarthy's first pass. I mean, that's going to be one of those moments, a where were you moment, 2025 training camp.
Well, if you remember last year, Paul Allen breathlessly reported that when J.J. McCarthy threw a pass, it was such a tight spiral, and he was able to spin it so well that you could actually, the laces were cutting through the wind, and you could hear it. Is what he said. That's what he actually said, and he was serious.
Goosebumps.
Cutting through the wind.
Yeah. So, it's there's a couple times that you kind of go during the course of our year that we spend together, kind of like Groundhog Day. One of them is Vikings training camp, which I enjoy. We don't come out here every day, but when we are out here, I'll be out here for the night practice and a few other times when you're out here. Then the other one, of course, is the one that the bane of my existence, the State Fair. But here we are, the end of July, and I heard Brian O'Neill's interview driving out here, and people obviously, there's a lot of optimism about the changes the Vikings made and how this is all going to translate into W and L's as the season goes on. And I think Brian said it best. You don't expect, nor do you basically want to see the Vikings at their best when they open up against the Bears. You want them to win, but I think you obviously want to play your best football in January, in December and January, and that's the goal. Getting used to new offensive linemen that they spent. I don't know. They spent $300 million in free agency this last year, both offense and defense. So there's a lot of new faces we got to get to know, and numbers we get to know, and that's all going to take time. But starts today. So
well, and that's why I was talking with Tenneby, and I was Tenneby, I think, felt I was putting too much undue pressure on expectations for the head coach. Mm-hmm. And it's when you're coach of the year and you get a 4-year contract extension, and you're considered this new, young, innovative coach, and now they've given you what you needed. You need an offensive line? Here you go. You wanted help on the interior of the defensive line? Here you go. You want us to draft a quarterback? We moved up and got your quarterback. So I do think, it's a team game, it's 53 players, the whole thing, blah, blah, all the cliches you want to use, but he's got what he wants now. And if you're the quarterback whisperer and the innovative coach, I think, and that's why coaches get hired and fired, and that's why they get paid the big bucks, because it really does, I think more than anything, they're the ones that are directing the entire on-field product.
There's no misreading the objective of the people as they look straight across the Twin City Orthopedic Performance Center, the people, the front office, and everyone in that building. About the expectations, and it's not like, well, we just want to get there and we'll give us a chance in the playoffs. No, the Wilfs, all the way down to everyone, Quasey, obviously, all the other people in scouting, have got to do better, and they want that's it. Starts the conversation starts with them winning a playoff game, but it doesn't end there. I mean, it ends with going to the big game, and that's just it. That's all that they're playing for. Whether there's always breaks you have to have along the way, especially staying healthy and playing your best football and having an understanding. But that's the one goal and only goal for this football. You can say that about every football team, but some football teams realistically know they're not going to get there this year, or maybe even next year. Others that are in the mix, and I think the Vikings feel like they're one of them, feel like they can, they have to get a lot better than what happened starting with the Rams playoff game last year. It was awful when they got 9 quarterback sacks in an NFC wildcard game. That's just they lost 27-9. They weren't in the game. That's the starting point for this football team this year when they go play the Bears.
Going into this season, this is for both of you guys. Mm-hmm. Is there another season where you feel like there's been higher expectations or maybe even more excitement? I mean, because going into 98, did people really think the 98 team was going to be? I don't remember. Did we think the 98 team was going to be, this team's got a chance to go 15-1? And when Favre came, I know there were a lot of expectations, pieces in place, this whole thing. So I know that that was, and maybe even going into the season after the under the first year when they went 14-3 under KOC, under KOC, going into to the 7-9 season, going into that, I think there was a lot of excitement there. This seems to be, at least from what just the feel I get from fans mm-hmm. and from media and even the team themselves, this seems to be is as much excitement as there's been for this team in a long time, I think, heading into a season.
Is it raining right now?
Oh, yeah.
Pouring.
I'm just kidding.
I told you it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Common. Going back to 98, keep in mind when Red McCombs took over as owner, and the year before, they were still, they were having blackouts, TV blackouts.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knew the consequential result of getting Randy Moss as late as they did in the first round, and the kind of impact he would have when he changed the face of the NFC North in particular, but everything else around him. We knew this was a very good football team, but Moss put him in the stratosphere. And then
they'd been a playoff team there for a couple of years in a row.
Keep in mind, Brad Johnson was, he was coming off an injury, the starting quarterback. He got hurt early in the season, and then a guy named Randall Cunningham took over. And when you look at the team now, you go, man, that was a loaded team. And guess what? When you talk about them, you talk about Moss, talk about Carter, talk about Jake Reed, talk about Robert Smith, et cetera, talk about that offensive line. I mean, that's, again, this conversation about this Vikings team should circle back to the offensive line. When you had Todd Stussy, the late, great Corey Stringer, who else is on that line? What am I missing? I said Stussy, Christie.
Right,
yeah. Anyway, the offensive line ended up being just a monster and gave Randall Cunningham the time to throw the ball up in the air as far as he could and let Randy Moss go get it. Yeah, and then, the defense was, I think this defense is better than the 98 defense. I think potentially the game breakers that we saw last year and the additions that they've made this year with Hargrave and Jonathan Allen staying healthy, I don't think there's any doubt and there's still question marks in the secondary. We understand that. But I think on paper, this defense is better than the 98 defense. They didn't have to be very good in 98.
You like this club, I think.
Well, I mean, I think anyone who's followed, football and followed this Vikings team, you've talked about it a million times. Anyone who understands the game understands that this offensive line got mauled last year, not just in that NFC playoff game against the Rams, but many other times, and not any specific where Sam Darnold in particular was running for his life, and we've seen it with Kirk Cousins. They had to improve it, and they did. And now we got to keep those guys healthy, because what they brought in with Ryan Kelly at center and Will Fries at right guard, from the Colts, is a vast improvement. Those guys were really good for the Colts, and that's why the Vikings went out and opened their checkbook. And knowing what the situation was and what KOC and Kwesi identified as a huge problem, as Kwesi has said over and over again, in order to win, you got to win any type of football game. You talked about earlier, Comment, in the postseason in particular. Doesn't matter what the matchup is. Doesn't matter the conditions. It's raining like it is now, playing outdoors, which doesn't happen very often. But yeah, it's they had to change the complexion, the makeup of this football team.
So the
that was quick.
They brought out all of the equipment,
the meat sauces.
Yeah, the meat sauces and such for outdoor practice at 2:30. Now they brought it all in. All I know is, back when I was a kid, we'd be running outside to play football.
Oh, you couldn't wait to play.
Tennessee and I talked about this about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is when we loved to play because we like playing out in the elements. Here in the NFL, they go back indoors.
Well, as long as there's not lightning, and that's the thing that we have to worry about, because last time I look what we're surrounded by.
Of course, back when we were kids, if we slipped on the turf and twisted our knee, well, that's just the way it goes.
Throw some Robitussin on it.
Here, you might have season-ending knee injury to your left tackle, and we wouldn't like to see that. So I guess I understand why they're probably not. I don't blame them, I guess.
No, I don't think you're going to see J.J. McCarthy out here running around in the rain today.
But we'll see. We still have another
time.
Well, we don't have.
It's going to be soaked here.
I think at this point,
yeah. That was quick. I walked in here from the parking lot, and it was not a drop, and came out here because I heard the studio was under construction, and
then you
needed the company.
And then you had lunch out.
You told me there was lunch here.
Lunch out here. Everything was set up for you. Speaking of lunch,
0 for 3.
Speaking of eating,
yes, sir.
Where are you going to have breakfast now that the Edina Grill is closing?
I know.
What are you going to do?
I don't go there very often anymore because it's too much my neck of the woods.
That was your place though for a long time.
It was mostly for lunch, but I did have a lot of breakfast here. I mean, I'm at and I still will. We have to have a kind of a farewell breakfast with Amelia Santinello. We've gone there a number. Yeah, I know.
I like breakfast. I'd go.
Yeah, I don't know the circumstances. I haven't talked to Steph about it. Her ex, her business partner, David Burley, sadly was killed in that motorcycle accident, and how much that's affected everything. As you know, when we get out to the State Fair, the Blue Barn is very successful, and Steph is out there all the time. She's always kind to bring some samples over of her latest foods. But Edina Grill's been a real mainstay in the middle of 50th in France, and it's sad to see those big institutional kind of places go, but it's a fact of life, and a lot of restaurants have a shelf life, and it's a tough business. It just is for all kinds of reasons, and we're gonna have to move on.
Yesterday you wrote this Twins club off. You said they were done. No, stick a fork in them. No reason to pay attention to them. And then last night, what a gutty effort against the Dodgers club.
I didn't say they weren't going to win another game. I just said I didn't think they were going to make the postseason.
Okay.
I didn't, and I watched. I didn't stay up for the whole game. I saw they took the lead.
What part did you see?
I saw when who was it? They took a 3-0 lead again, and then. Simeon Woods Richardson, gave up. He was pitching really well, and then he gave up a 3-run dinger to tie it. And I think
he went 3 strong innings.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some. I like him though. He looks good. I mean,
he's gritty.
He's gritty. But I didn't see the Dodgers fall apart later. They've had some issues at home lately, and they've people in LA.
They're in first place, but they're not. They were in a 6-game, I think, losing streak when they faced us in Game 1. They snapped that. Now they're back. That means I think they've lost 7 of the last 8 games.
I believe so. Yeah, they still got a 4-game lead over the Padres, 59-43. But yeah, I mean, it's still going to be a battle. They play this afternoon at 3:00. Finished out the series before the Twins return home. And
Chris Paddock on the hill.
Yeah, he got rocked last time. So he's got to they got to pitch a lot better to keep him in the game. against that team. But the Twins are 4 games out of the wild card, but the Yankees are in first. I'm talking about the wild card. The Yankees,
Right.
Seattle's a game behind, and Boston. Those are the 3 teams right now. Then you got Tampa Bay, Texas, Cleveland, then the Twins and the Angels tied, and the Royals 4.5 back. So those are basically the teams that are in, if you want to use the word, in contention for those 3 wild card spots.
Speaking of the Red Sox,
American League.
Remember when they traded, is it Devers? Is that how you say his
Yes.
name? So they trade him. And he apparently had refused to move to first base. He said, I ain't going to first base. I'm a third baseman, because they signed the Bregman character out of Houston, right?
Right.
And, they kind of thought, and you're kind of hoping a player will go, yeah, hell, if we can add a player like that to the lineup, sure, he can play. I don't care. I'll move over to first base, but he didn't. Then apparently he played first base last night for San Francisco. Guess he changed his mind. Guess when we need you to play first. Could you just go over there?
Well, yeah. I mean, San Francisco is still very much in the National League wild card race. They're only 2 games
Correct.
out, and so they're hanging. And then Milwaukee, I think, has the best record in baseball right now. If I'm not mistaken, they did. So the Brewers and the Cubs have been kind of going at it, and that's great because those 2 rivals are a lot of fun to watch. I mean, it's like the Phillies and the Mets. They're hammering it out in the East. You're a baseball fan, just in general. You got some great races going on. The Cubs and the Brewers in the Central, they are in a tie for first place, 60-41. The Dodgers, 4-game lead, but not insurmountable. Yeah, your Tigers are leaking a little bit of oil.
They're leaking oil. They're in trouble.
But they're still 9. They're 9 games up by Cleveland. They're not going anywhere.
I think they're done.
No, they're too good. Houston's going to win that division, and the Yankees are still breathing down the neck of Toronto. So,
Devers isn't the first guy to not want to change positions.
No.
I mean, but it's happened though before in sports where a guy will embrace somebody else coming to the club.
Right.
Add him, sure. I don't mind shifting over.
Yeah.
I mean, if you remember, our guy Lewis. He didn't want to leave third base.
Right.
They wanted him to play second base. And he said, I'm a third baseman. And then all of a sudden he's over playing second base. Sometimes you just got to do what's good for the team. And again, you really don't have a final say in it. That's the manager that's got, or the coach that's got the final decision on that. And so,
you mentioned Royce Lewis again. I've watched a fair share, most of their games this year.
He had 3 RBI yesterday.
He plays the game with such joy, and he appreciates, obviously, he's been dealing with injuries, and he kind of shrugs them off, well, it's part of the game, it's part of this, and you got to just keep going and keep moving forward. Keep waiting and waiting for him to get on one of those rolls because he's got such a natural, beautiful swing, and he's just such a great athlete.
Well, he knocked in 3 runs last night, but none were like with it's not like he rocketed a ball off the wall or anything.
No.
I think one of them was off the plate, another dribbler. Another one was a fielder's choice. They had to go to a different place, and that.
I think the highlight for the Twins, besides the win, was watching Simeon Woods Richardson strike out Ohtani twice in his first 2 at bats. I mean, you could see how charged up he was. Because Ohtani's seen everything. He's seen lots of 99-mile-an-hour fastballs and all sorts of slurves and whatever, and he's almost impossible to strike out, it seems like. But he got him twice last night, so he's fun to watch.
Royce wrote your good friend and mine, Pat.
Yeah.
Royce wrote a piece about.
I missed it.
I just love when he waxes nostalgic about different topics. And he was talking about how he actually misses Mankato because he was talking about how. Boy, you could get more scoops at the corner bar than you can now. Back in the olden days, I think he was talking more olden days than anything. Back in the days when you could buy a guy a beer at the bar, and the next thing you know, you got the latest scoop.
It was a different different atmosphere. I understand that. I've been driven down that way a few times, and it's hard not to feel nostalgia. I mean, I covered pretty much every training camp down there since the early '70s, and. That's when we're looking at the openness of TCO here, but they have water breaks that are really strongly enforced when they come here, and then you realize when you go down to Mankato and you're in those open fields at Blakesley, and that was before even Bud Grant didn't allow many water breaks at that time. You had to tough it out.
Yeah, but.
There was, the accessibility. The players would walk off the field, and you grab them, and then you grab them by the dorms, and you get them in the Gage Hall. They'd have their lunch dinners up there, and we were able to mingle with them up there. We were allowed in there once the players got up there. But you stay at the American Inn, and you go to Jake's Pizza, Bob Hagan's favorite place, and Yeah, you'd run into the players there. I remember running into, Kyle Rudolph and his young family up there. And you don't want to go bother them at that time, but players would go to just normal places,
right.
like, in Mankato. And they were great partners for many, many, many years. But I think that's kind of a thing of the past for most teams now. I remember when the Chiefs went to River Falls for a number of years. Remember Joe Montana was there at River Falls. We'd go over there and cover the Chiefs a couple different times, and look at the teams. I think the Bears they're in Lake Forest, which is not that far out of the main. They don't have a facility in the city, but I mean it was a different thing. But I think now because of the like the Taj Mahals are building around the league for these teams, in particular here at TCO, which was I think named the top one in the NFL. You don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah. And things
that's a big part of it.
And things I think are a little different now too. The more it's more corporate, it's more streamlined,
yep.
and because so much. Even though there was money involved back then, the money involved now is so much. Like you want to make sure every one of the. I mean, they're investing. You just mentioned $300 million in free agents in the offseason. You want to take care of that investment. You don't want them. You don't want them down at Blakesley and they had the other thing.
They had their nighttime.
This place has got everything,
right?
Obviously.
They obviously had their nighttime practice there too as well. They used to be on a Saturday night or something. They'd have a passing scrimmage and they'd fill the stands there at Blakesley. But here they have, as you know, those stands over your shoulder will be filled. I think Saturday's the first day that it's open to the public, and especially the curiosity about McCarthy, the oohs and ahs that they're going to hear from the crowd as soon as McCarthy throws his first long pass to JJ, the other JJ, will be palpable. I mean, they'll be selling all sorts of merchandise out here. They do a really nice job of.
They just put meat sauce back on one of the flatbeds.
I see that. This is like a rain delay in baseball where they pull the tarp on and they pull the tarp off and.
They're bringing in the meat sauces. I
think that's it.
I don't think we're having a
I think they called it.
So we'll just turn it over to Big Ticket at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to us today. Do you think he's ready to go? He'll go at 2. He likes the sound of his own voice.
Yeah, sure he does.
He could go at 2, couldn't he?
He's a little nasty.
What the heck? Well, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got one more hour to go. We're here at the Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. It's continuing coverage of Vikings Training Camp 2025 right here on your home for the Minnesota Vikings, your audio home for the Minnesota Vikings, KFAN.
Let your imagination take flight with an AI-powered PC from Lenovo. Whether it's creating digital art, designing new software, or building a portfolio for a future career, our PCs are powered by Intel Core Ultra processors to help students unlock smarter learning and unleash their creativity. That's the power of Lenovo with Intel inside. All you have to do is choose the one that fits your passion. Head to Lenovo.com to shop AI PCs and find your perfect companion. Plus, get 5% off when you create an education account.
A treasure trove of bananas has been stolen, and it's up to Donkey Kong and his buddy Pauline to get them back. This unlikely duo is going on a world-smashing adventure, using DK's destructive abilities to explore an underground world, and the power of Pauline singing to activate wild transformations. Donkey Kong Bonanza, available now. Rated everyone 10 and up, only on Nintendo Switch 2. Game and system sold separately.
Saks Off 5th, up to 70% off every day. Summer is officially here. Time to dress like it. From breezy linen and floral dresses to chic sandals and beach-ready swim. Saks Off 5th has the designer styles you'll live in all season long. Plus, shop new arrivals every week. You'll find Alice & Olivia, Valentino Garavani, Versace, Stuart Weitzman, and more. Head to SaksOff5th.com or a Saks Off 5th store near you for up to 70% off every day.